All right, all right. Hello, everyone. Welcome to another episode of the Uplink. Super excited to be here with Jerome from Skiply talking about, many things, but their instant customer feedback machines that are being used all over the world on Helium. These are really cool because I think, and we'll get into it, they're really simple to understand. We get a lot of IoT kind of solutions that can be a little bit confusing sometimes. These are literally press a smiley face button or something like that, and you can figure it out. So awesome. Great to have you here, Jerome. I am Jacob Swin. I'm a marketing manager with Nova Labs, founding team behind the Helium network. I'm going to go through just a quick little spiel about Helium in case people aren't aware of what Helium is or what we do, and then I'm going to hand it over to Jerome. So we're a people-powered network, totally decentralized, built by the people, for the people, kind of creating a wireless revolution, the largest wireless network rollout in history, I believe. And Helium itself was founded in 2013, the mission to make it easier to build decentralized wireless networks. And we've done that, like I said, the largest decentralized wireless network in the world. And we've had a lot of help to get here, and so we're super grateful to our investors and VC firms who have kind of backed us and helped us along the way. This logo wall could probably be updated because we have many more, but just want to, again, say thank you to everyone who has helped us get to where we're at right now and continues to help us on this journey. So the network itself, some pretty cool stats. I always love this slide because it's always different every single time. Some of these slides stay the same, but I have to change these stats like every 5 minutes. We hit 900,000 hotspots since I did the last episode of the Uplink. So we're closing in on that, the holy grail, 1 million hotspots. We're at almost 70,000 cities around the world and 181 countries. So really rapidly growing around the entire world and getting to, there are only a handful of countries that Helium is not operating in right now. Some of the kind of the selling points of the network, things that, people choose Helium for: low data transfer costs. Our boilerplate example is kind of a device that sends data every 5 minutes, costs around $1 per year, which is a lot cheaper than pretty much any other competitors. It's easy to get up and get running on the network. As long as you have compatible off-the-shelf LoRaWAN device, you can pretty much start going, upload it to Helium console and start sending data. Because, you can see how, widespread Helium is. You can leverage existing infrastructure rather than paying to deploy more. So most places, especially urban areas, have Helium coverage now. So if you want to get up and start it on Helium, you don't need to, buy a bunch of hardware, buy infrastructure, anything like that. There's coverage already. You can just get started. And then you only pay based on usage. So, you're not being locked in any sort of contract. You're not having to pay for anything you're not specifically using, anything like that. We have a huge ecosystem and it's continually growing. So Skiply is one of our newest additions, but we have, we're updating this constantly. A lot of people are joining the network and we're enabling a ton of different really cool solutions, everything from like pet tracking to real-time customer feedback, all types of asset tracking, tons of different things, water monitoring, environmental monitoring, things helping monitor stuff for climate change, all of that stuff. So really cool to see the ecosystem growing and all the different use cases that are being enabled by the network. So you can check that out on just helium.com/ecosystem. Like I said, we're continually adding to that. And, I'm doing uplinks all the time with people like Jerome and Skiply to kind of talk a little bit more about their use cases. Just some recent news and some upcoming news as well. We finally are able to do in-person events again, which is great. We had the first one, and I think longer than I've been at Helium, but in about 3 years, I'm told. We did Helium House in Austin, Texas, where the community got together. We had panelists come up and talk about how they're using the network, what they're excited for with the network. We had some announcements. We had lots of different use cases being showcased in the venue as well. So you can watch the stream on our YouTube channel. We're also doing Helium House New York City coming up in September during Masari Mainnet. So stay tuned for that if you want to come meet the community, like shake hands with some people you talk to in Discord all the time, something like that. Really cool and exciting to, get started building another in-person event out. right now we're in the middle of, or I guess it's almost August, but a cellular summer, with the Helium 5G coming out. This is the opportunity to kind of get in on the ground floor and build the 5G network like people did with the IoT network the last few years. So you can check it out just on helium.com/summer, get some details on how you can be involved and again, start building that 5G network from the ground up and be one of the first people to do that. And again, we've had more ecosystem additions. I've done some uplinks, done some interviews with Skiply, WeatherXM, SenseGreen, along with many others. But you can find those on our YouTube channels. Check it out on our socials as well. We're sharing content from all of these different users that we're talking with. But with that, that's kind of my Helium overview. And Jérôme, I'm going to turn the keys over to you. I'm going to stop sharing here and let you take it away and tell your story.
Okay, so hello everybody. I'm very happy to be with you tonight. For us in France, it's 9 p.m. So today I'm going to talk about Skiply and what we are doing and how you can, build solution around Skiply and how we can also contribute to the usage of the Helium network. So we have a kind of different, but providing something really different compared to what you can find in the IoT business, because most of the time in the IoT business, you have technical sensors. We all know about temperature, humidity, things like that. But at Skiply, what we are measuring is basically human interaction. So we are using, we are sensing the feedback of the user on the field. So that's what I'm going to explain right now. And I will start with something that you all know. It's about the sheet of paper that you can find in the toilets, where people, they clean the restrooms and then they have to sign out with a pen. And there is someone every day that is going around all the toilets, all the sanitaries, and take this sheet of paper and enter it into an Excel file. So of course, it's really a waste of time. And there is an example of a Skiply solution. It's a digital timesheet. So when the staff arrive in a facility, they just use their badge and then they say, okay, I want there. And there is an automated system, it's connected. So the timesheet is sent to whatever you want. It can be an Excel file, it can be a Google Sheet, it can be an ERP, whatever you want. And for the people that are visiting the facility, there is also a screen that indicates the time of the passage. It can be 1 hour ago or 2 hours ago. So that's something that we are doing in every kind of facilities. You can find that in airports, you can find it in shopping mall. There are plenty of use case for this device. And as you can see, there you have also the possibility to give a feedback, because of course sometimes there is something wrong in the facility. There is some soap missing or some paper, whatever you want. So it's a kind of, first you have the timesheet, but you also have the opportunity to let your users help you to maintain the facility in good conditions. It's really an interesting device that I'm combining a lot of things. The second example is one of our best seller. It's a very basic and simple device, it's very cheap, but it's something that you can use almost everywhere. So when there is a cleaning company that want to be sure that people went on site and did the job, it's not so easy to do. How can you be sure that people went on site and then did the job and spent the hour that was planned in the contract? So this device is very simple, and when people arrive on site, they click on arrive, and when they leave the site, they click on depart. So something very easy, but very useful. And you can use the other buttons to, for instance, making a service request. So same, if soap is missing or if something is wrong, and the people that are on site can just press a button and saying, helping to find out what happened. So that's all related to the proof of presence. And you can find it mostly in facility management companies. So, but this is something that you can use almost everywhere.
Jerome, do you have one of those little machines with you so
Yeah,
people
of
can
course, for
see
sure.
what it looks like in real
I don't
life?
know if you see my camera.
Yeah,
Yeah, this one is an example. So I'm sorry, it's in French, but this one is interesting. I have to promote my country. I'm
there you
sorry.
go. That's all right.
So you have four type of buttons. So it's the arrive, departures, but then there's also consumables. So if something is missing, they can press the button. And also another kind of, it's vitrerie, it's kind of when you want to clean the glasses. And this is something that should be done every week. To be sure that they comply with the contract they have with their customer. So they have to press this button at least once per week. You know, that's an example of what you can do with this kind of device.
Yeah.
And there is also a kind of badge that you can place here. So if you want to have requests that are confirmed by a badge. So there are many possibilities with up to 5 buttons and a magnetic badge.
Yeah. No, very cool. And it's small enough so it's not like taking up a lot of space. You're not installing some.
Yeah. And that's the beauty of the combination of this device with Helium. That means that you don't need to connect to the Wi-Fi of the customer. You don't need to enter a SIM card. You don't need anything. You just place it in the wall and it works. So
Yeah.
it's basically, it's really magic, because in this area of business, they have a lot of trouble with all style system. Imagine when you want to clean the facilities of a bank, and then you ask them to connect to the Wi-Fi. So it was the case in the past, and same for there are some phone system, you know. So people arrive inside, they have to compose a number on the phone of the bank. So
Yeah.
of course it's not suitable for this kind of business, but with this device you can place it almost everywhere. So just and even if you don't have the network, I mean, if you are in a country where the coverage is not so good, it's not so expensive to place a new gateway in the area and to provide the service compared to what exists today.
Yeah, absolutely. Awesome. Very cool.
Another use case that is more and more that we have more and more at Skiply, it's automated service request. And this is an example that you can find in factories. So those guys, the DT logistics, they have to transport packings from one place to another. It can be very small pieces, but it can be also very large pieces. And they can transport it from one side of a factory to the other side of a factory, but also from one country to the other. And in the past, each time that the customer wanted to do a request to say, okay, I have a package here, you have to take it from here and send it there, they have to create an SAP request. So it was funny because, you know, the people in the factory, mostly they don't have the license for SAP. So they have to ask a colleague to know, hey, can you help me and fill this request? And it's very long. I mean, you have to open the system, to log in, to find the form. So it's really not very efficient. And with this kind of device, it's exactly the same that I showed you 5 seconds ago for proof of presence. But then we will use it to make service requests. And basically, they put the packing on one place and they press the corresponding button. So in 5 seconds, they did the job. And then, of course, after that, you have an automated workflow, and I will show that with what you can do with the Helium console and with tools like Microsoft Power Automate of Made.com. And then the people in charge of providing the services will receive an email or have a notification, and it will be very easy for them to manage this kind of requests.
Yeah. I mean, filling out forms like you have a picture of right there is a nightmare sometimes, you know?
Yeah. And especially with this kind of software, you know?
Yeah, absolutely.
So that's much easier. And in the waste management area, we have a lot of requests as well. With a big French group called Suez, and they are using it for when dumpster is full and they have a contract, so they should send a driver to take this dumpster. So they use this kind of device to say, okay, it's full. I don't need to make to fill a form. So there are many use cases for this kind of devices. And yeah, we are talking about feedback, real feedback. So I will just talk about that. It was our original products that I have it. I have one here. We have the keyboard here, but the smiley buttons.
Yeah. So this was the first product that Skiply came out with. Is that what you said?
Yeah. That was the first product that came up, and we provided that in a lot of airports, shopping malls. And basically why we did that, because there is not so much way to measure the feedback of customers in real life. If you take, for instance, Google reviews, it won't help you to improve. I mean, most of the time, you take it as it is, but you cannot say, okay, it was a customer that was there at that time at this place in the store. So it's not very efficient to improve. And that's why many people are buying feedback. and so it's not very accurate. What we propose with Skiply is something that you can also do with tablets. You may have crossed the road of these famous tablets, where people ask you your opinion about the service. But there are a lot of problems with tablets. So first, it's wired. That means that you cannot place it in the journey of the customer. You have to place it where you have a plug. And sometimes the plug is not at the same time where the experience happens. Second, it's always very heavy. You know, it's protected because there are a lot of problems with people want to steal those tablets. And as you may notice, it's always dirty. I mean, there are fingerprints on the screen, and at the COVID time, it's very difficult for people to put their own finger on the fingerprints of others. There are, even if you think at the reflection in a store or in an airport, you have always the sun on the top, and it's almost unreadable. And you have a lot of troubles with tablets. I did a count myself. So each time I see a tablet, I'm seeing, is it working or not? And basically, there are half of them that are not functional because they have troubles with maintenance, or there is an update, or it's unplugged, or there is no battery anymore, or whatever. So that's why we have the idea to provide a more simple device. And this is this smiley device. It works for years on battery. Almost, it's between 5 and 6 years. You can place it everywhere. I mean, not only at the entrance of the store or at the end of the journey. You can place it at the cashier desk or wherever you want. Of course, it's always visible. I mean, you don't have this problem of reflection. It's very clean. It's an antibacterial keyboard, even killing viruses and bacterials. And basically, it never stops working. I mean, it's really robust. And so what we are doing is collecting a lot of interaction everywhere in the store. And we have each time the time of the experience, which is different from the time of the feedback, you know, because if you have a Google review, someone gave you the review on Monday, but maybe they were in the store on Saturday. And you cannot know that. And that's changed everything, because if you have to blame people because something was wrong, and the people from the Saturday maybe was very good, the people from the Monday, there are other people. So that's the first thing. And the second thing is, inside the store, you have to be sure that people went, for instance, in the grocery, and that's where they give their feedback. So you know, this is very small interaction, but when you add the context, and when you multiply them, you have a very good overview of what happened in your store. And so you can improve a lot. And we have customers every week, they are taking the data and they say, okay, what we can improve today. And then they try something, they discuss with the team, and they say, okay, this week we will do that and that. And then the next week they have the results, and they can see if the action that they lead help them to improve the quality of service. But, you know, it's a very actionable tool. It's not an high flyer tool, you know, 60% of satisfaction, that's great, but it's more like a management tool instead of a pure statistical tool. And we provide it everywhere in the world, as you mentioned, Jacob, in the US first through our partner Microshare, that is also an Helium partner. And Microshare are providing thousands of this kind of device to our Remark. Remark is the largest facility manager in the US. They use it especially for the business building. So, but you could use it in the airport too. And of course, we also provide this in Japan. We have a partner called Sojis, and we will deliver, I think, almost 3,000 of a device to Kansai Airport. Kansai Airport is Osaka Airport, so it's a big one, and they are really focused on customer satisfaction. And I think they are using it for more than 3 years now. It's really the reference for them to see if they improve the quality of service. You also have it in McDonald's. I mean, that's Kansai Airport that is asking McDonald's to put this kind of device on the desk to see if they deliver the quality that is requested. You know.
Yeah. I can imagine at an airport, you know, if your flight's delayed or something, people are going to hit that frowny face quite a bit on there.
Yeah, and there is something else that's, you know, it doesn't cost anything to the users to press a button, and that's why it's different from other systems. Well,
yeah.
Most of the time when I see a feedback tablet, the first question is, "What is your email?" So yeah, most of the time, I mean 90% of the time. But I understand that I'm from the marketing, so I can imagine that they want to collect email, but that's not the question. People don't care to give you an email just to say it's right or it's wrong. And with the button, they don't care. I mean, it's so easy to do. And we have an example in an airport, a very small airport, but with a lot of people in winter. We have almost 4,000 votes per day and per device. So you will never have as much Google review as that. I mean, it's almost impossible.
Yeah. So these are totally anonymous then for the customer, you know, I mean, they're just pushing a button. You said they're not entering contact info. They're not, you know, getting follow-up emails or anything like that from this. They're just providing their feedback and going on. Yeah. Exactly.
And that's all the difference. So we don't want to make marketing. We just want to really measure the customer satisfaction and improve it.
Yeah.
And that's also, but for people who are familiar with Google Analytics, for instance, on the websites, it's exactly the same principle. I mean, with Google Analytics, you can do A/B testing and say, okay, this week I will try this solution, next week I'll try the other one. And then with the Skippy devices, you will have the results, it's a question of hours. I mean, and you will see if your action lead to an improvement or not.
Awesome.
And so today, I don't want to promote our own solution, cloud solution. I wanted to show you, because people like Microshare or Sojis or partners, they build a solution around our products. That's something that we want to promote. I mean, we are a device manufacturer. We can also help to provide an API, something like that. But we are pretty convinced that people in front of the customer are better than us to provide the best solution. So what I want to show you now is what we can do with our data and how you can build a very easily solution based on no-code tools like maybe Microsoft Power Automate or Made.com. So first of all, just to remind you, so what you can provide, what kind of services you can provide around a product. So the first one is the obvious one is dashboards. We all like dashboards, so nobody is really knowing what to do with that, but we all do dashboards. So you can do it. I will show you how. You can use many tools to make your own dashboard. You can use Microsoft Power BI. You can use Google Data Studio, Tableau, many things. Managers like dashboards, so it's important to provide it to them. You can do reports, of course. That's for the team, for instance, to say, okay, this week we perform this way and this way. But there are much more interesting things that you can do with our devices. And one of them is alerting, because as I said, we are on the field and we are real time. That means if someone at the cashier desk gives you a red, press the red button, and if 3 people press the red button in less than 10 minutes, for sure you have a problem. And you don't have to wait until you have the result in the report or in the dashboard. Maybe you should go on the field and say, and discuss with the cashier and say, what happens? It can be sometimes the fault of a bad customer. I mean, it's not always the people working that have a problem. Something happens and you have to deal with it. And that's exactly something that we can do. So when I press this button here, the red button, I did an alert for the demo, but that will call my smartphone and tell me I'm really bad, you know. So that's the alerting function. And we also provide live views. That means that you have a floor plan of the store, and in real time you can see where the problems are. So it's popping up on the map. So it's calling me right now, you know, because I pressed the red button. So I will show you how you can do that. I don't know if we will. The sound is too low.
It's a little bit
but
blurry.
But it's that you have a very bad review and you have to go and to see what happens.
Yeah.
So, and that's what I want to show you, how you can do that based on your data and play with this data and yourself provide a new service to customers around your area. So how can we do that? So it's really easy, in fact, because maybe you are familiar with tools like make.com. If not, I will explain briefly. But you will see that in this example, you don't need us. I mean, we just have to, you can do a bridge between Helium and other tools like Power BI on Twilio. So make.com, it's like Zapier or it's like Microsoft Power Automate. That's systems that can connect Helium platform with any kind of tool. It can be send an email, it can be adding data to a dashboard like Power BI, it can be give a call with Twilio, send the SMS, many things that you can do with that. So how you can do it? Jacob, do you have the time to share my screen and to make a short demo?
Yeah, why not? Let's do it.
Okay.
Yeah.
So let me show you.
See how this stuff works.
Okay. So I have a demo device. I have a number. So it's AC19. This is this one. So as you can see in your console, so I just pressed the button. It's 9:26 here in France. So I received data, and then in my flows, I will send this data here to a callback, HTTP callback, and going through a decoder. So if you want to build it yourself, you can ask me for the decoder. That means that we will transform the payload of the device into something that can be exploitable in tools like make.com. So that's really easy, and we will send the data into make.com thanks to a system that is called a webhook. So a webhook is basically a kind of an endpoint. You don't need to be a technical guy to create this endpoint. You just add here. Let's edit the flow. So you have many tools, and you will just add a custom webhook here, and this will give you a link here, and this is this link that you will use in the Helium console and send to the Helium console. When you receive a data from Skiply, then you will send data to this webhook. So it's very easy to do, and after that you will collect the data here, and you can send the data wherever you want, I mean, here I'm using two services. I'm using Twilio. So Twilio is a very famous tool for SMS and call. And we just say into Twilio, just call this number, for instance, and you can build the contents. You have a red alert, man, so please do better than this. But you can also add the where it happens. So imagine that in your store you have the grocery, and it will tell you you will have a red alert at the grocery. So it's a very intuitive tool, and there is a lot that you can do with that. And then you can also send your data to Microsoft Power BI and make your own dashboard. So with this kind of tool, I mean, there is no limit to the imagination, and you can create as much solution as you want, and for a price that is really low. You know, you make.com, I think you can have thousands of action per month, so it's very easy to implement. So if you guys have questions regarding this, you can comment the video, and I'll be happy to help and to send you the links to help you to do it on your side.
Yeah, no, that's really cool, because you can pretty much customize, you know, how you're getting that data in any number of ways. Like you said, you can send alerts, you can just build dashboard, all those types of things. And, you know, I'm not a technical person, I'm in marketing, I'm not a developer, but this makes sense to me. So that's a good thing from your end, Jérôme. If it makes sense to me, then I think it's pretty accessible to almost everybody. So that's good.
People from the marketing, they love this kind of tool because they don't need to ask the people from IT to make a new new link.
Exactly.
And yeah, this is what is called shadow IT, you know, where everybody is doing his own tool, and the people, guys from the IT, they're saying, "I don't do that," but you have to. That's really easy to implement and to use. But even when you can use it when you receive a lead from somewhere, and you want to send an email and then to add it to your CRM, there are many things that you can do with that.
Gotcha.
So I won't go into details right now, because we could spend 2 hours on this and stop the target today. But just to let you know what you can achieve with that, just let me share again my screen. Oh, I'm not sure that the link is working right now. Let me check that. Okay.
That's all right.
So this is an example of a Power BI dashboard that you can build yourself with this stuff. So here you have the global score of the store. You can select one store, saying so this is 3 French towns, and see Lyon, Paris. So you can click on it and have the result for each store. You can click on the hour, saying, okay, at 11 what happens, and then it will update the different score. And this is very interesting when you have a team that is starting the same team on Thursday, on Monday. You can analyze the figures depending of the organization that you have. So you can build very nice dashboard, and you can make a lot of automation around that, even from emails to SMS, or we also have a, you know, how do you say that? It's a kind of, you know, rotating lights. That you can, we have some customer that there are a real red alert, you know.
Oh yeah, yeah,
yeah,
like office. A siren, like on an ambulance or something, right? Yeah.
So yeah, the many things that you can do with that.
Yeah, that's very cool.
And of course, you have an overview here of. Oh, let me present that. An overview of what I call the live view. So you have the floor plan of the store, and in real time you have it's popping up everywhere and saying where is the red, where is the green, and then you can I mean adapt your management to the data. So it's really a data-oriented management in the store or in the airport. Okay, that's all for me. Before we have questions, so we have prepared a special offer for Helium partner and customers. So you can scan this QR code if you want to buy this kind of devices, and we will have a special discount for the occasion.
Yeah, and this is going to go up on YouTube and on our socials as well. So is there like a expiration date for this special offer or anything that I should know before I, you know, if
there is probably one, but I should admit I don't remember. So let's say 30 days.
Okay,
I will update accordingly tomorrow with the team.
Perfect. All right, we'll get it out before then. I think I asked you this when we did kind of our initial interview, Jérôme, but you've talked a lot about like B2B, like having this in stores, malls, airports, and things like that. But do you also sell this like B2C a little bit? I think I asked about having it like in your house, do people have these like, hey, do you like my apartment kind of thing? Click on that,
Not so much. It happens, but there are a lot of makers that are buying this to build things that we don't really understand, that are on their side. And we have some people that are using it when they have elderly, when they want to protect people on, they say, if you have a trouble, just please press this button and things like that. But I would say it's really, it's not so often. I mean, it's not a big business for us.
Yeah. Okay. What about, like you said, people are buying these devices and kind of building things that you may not even know about or anything. How customizable are they? How easy is it for, someone to buy a bunch of these devices and kind of customize it to how they want it for their business?
Now, first of all, you can buy this kind of device on our store so it's very easy to, and you can customize them using a basic sheet of paper, and asking a new question every time and change the question. It's very easy. If you want to customize the keyboard, you can do it. And especially our big customers, of course, like big stores like Leclerc in France, or if we have a Walmart in the US, they will ask for a special keyboard. But this is something that we are providing after, hundreds of devices. And everything is possible.
Yeah, no, that's cool. I mean, again, the ease of use kind of, IoT sometimes has a high barrier to entry for some people, but when you make this stuff easier, make these solutions easier for everyone to use, that's really cool. Now you just kind of almost under your breath mentioned like Walmart and stuff like that. Like that's a huge partner. Do you have other big names out there that are using your devices? You showed like Aramark and stuff, but Walmart's a pretty big one. You should brag about that.
Yeah. We did a test with Walmart. It was just before the COVID, but the COVID was a big issue for this kind of business because, of course, we are talking about real life experience. And I've been during the past 2 years. It was not the main focus of those guys, but it's coming back in force. I mean, we have a lot of requests, and so but we did it in X5. We provide it in some IKEA stores. Use this device to not only for satisfaction, they also use it when you want to call someone to help. For example, if you want to make a kitchen and you need a sales guy, you can press a button. So there are many different use cases. We are providing that in factories like Heineken or beer. It's a good summertime, so it's perfect. No, I think we have around 500 different customers all around the world, B2B customers. And we are providing tens of thousands of devices. So sometimes there are surprising use cases.
Yeah, no, I want to carry one around when I'm in IKEA just to call somebody when I get lost or something in there, if I'm not follow the floor plan right. Do you have any some future plans you can kind of tease a little bit? Like, are there big things Skiply is kind of working on, like to, move forward with the solutions you've already created?
Yeah, we have two different areas. So in the satisfaction business, what we're trying to do now is doing a kind of double data transmission. So the first one will be through the Helium network to provide all the services that I've described today. But we also want to make a connection with the smartphone of the users. Today, most of the people try to localize people in a store using a kind of sniffer, Bluetooth sniffer. And we are doing exactly the contrary. That means that when you will press a button here, if a customer has the app of the brand, then they will have the possibility to have special offers. And to say, okay, you were there and you press this button, so we will offer 5% discount if you help us to improve, for instance. Yeah. So we have a patent ongoing on that, and also the proof of presence, it's a very interesting business because it's same. The COVID changed or the way we are working. And in the past, when you want to clean your office, you will say, okay, it's a contract. It was 4 times per week. It's each Monday, Tuesday, Friday at this time, and it doesn't happen anymore because now the people, they say, okay, I'm not using the facilities for 2 days, but this next day I need something, and then we have to reinvent the way that we are providing field services, and then these devices are very helpful for that.
Yeah.
And so we will soon propose a lot of innovation in this area, and we've also had the possibility to the people that they will enter in a building and we will detect them, and that means that when they will press a button, we will know who they are and which company they are, and we will have the possibility to provide much more accurate services and with different companies in the building.
Yeah, no,
I'm not sure it's really clear what I told you, but it's a very complicated businose. The system is simple, but you have a lot of people in a building that are providing services, and those companies needs to know where the people went on site, what they did, what they asked, etc. So.
Yeah. So how does Helium kind of help with these types of things? Like what, you talked a little bit, about how it fits in the process here, but, basically why did you go with Helium? What are kind of the things that made you want to choose Helium and stay with us?
So the most important thing is to have a global coverage because all customers are global. We had in the past a lack of network, especially in the US, for instance.
Mm-hmm.
And that means that we cannot say to the customers, okay, you have maybe thousands of sites in your country, but we can only cover maybe 500. It's not possible.
Yeah.
If we need to add a gateway each time that we don't have the coverage, it will cost a lot.
Yeah.
So that's the first thing. That means that we have a global coverage and we can deliver service everywhere and at a reasonable cost. So cost is another issue because for me and for us, the cost of the Helium network is really cheap. That means that the value, what we're proposing, the value compared to the price of the data is very, very cool. I mean, it's a great deal for us at the moment.
Yeah. Yeah. No, that's great. How can people, I just asked the audience if they have any, questions for you while I'm kind of chatting, but what's the best way for people to kind of get in touch with you if they want to learn more, if they want to get started, if they want to, get up and running with some of these solutions? Is it just the website? Is it email, social media? What's the best point of contact?
Yeah, we did a lot of videos, and the same for this video. I mean, people, if they leave a comment on the video, we always reply to this because we are supporting our customer this way. Yeah. And we will send the links to the different tutorial that we make. And sometimes when we have the same question 10 times, we do a new tutorial. Okay. It can be in French or in English.
So like those new tutorials, would they be up on your website or do you have a YouTube?
Yes, and on our YouTube channel as well.
Okay.
And there is also a FAQ website for Skiply, so people can ask questions. Gotcha. But probably the best way to start with is the YouTube channel.
Okay. Awesome. And we can drop some of those links in the video description for this as well. Yeah, we can put those in there so people can find those. But I'm not sure if the audience has any questions right here, but Jérôme, this has been awesome, man. And I like someone I work with who's on this call actually messaged me during this, said, oh my God, I see these all over the place, in airports, malls, that kind of thing, so it's something that is extremely helpful, I think, for businesses. And I'm not sure why they wouldn't use that real-time feedback, as opposed to, like you said, waiting a couple of days for a Yelp or a Google review or something. So this is extremely helpful and seems easy to use. So this is awesome. I'm excited to see what you guys at Skiply continue to do and how you're growing.
Okay, so it will be a pleasure for us. And so So congratulations for the expansion of the network. So it helps us a lot.
Well, hey, I'm glad we can help. Yeah, we're almost at 1 million. So, the more we get, the more it helps you. Okay, well, I want to thank you for showing up, Jérôme. Appreciate you being on today and taking the time, especially 9 p.m. at night. I know is probably not easy. And again, we'll keep pushing out updates and show the different things that Skiply is doing. Follow our socials. We can do some more of these videos, things like that, as more things come online for you. So,
okay, great.
Yep. Exciting. And thanks everyone for being here. And we'll see you next time for another episode of the Uplink. Bye, everyone.
Thank you. Bye-bye.